Hi, I'm Jen from 5 Spiral Slings and I've been sent this wrap to see if I can mend it. Now, this is about 4 years old and it's had plenty of use with one child, and its owner has had a new baby, wants to use it with that baby too. However, it has developed right in the centre, down here. It has developed, if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Great big hole. Okay, now you might be forgiven for thinking that that's the end of its usable life. However, I don't think that that's the case. We're not going to be able to mend it invisibly, but I do think we're going to be able to mend it safely. And so before we look at how we're going to do that, I'm going to talk about how it's occurred and what exactly we've got here. So if you look at the position of the hole on the wrap, it's the area that gets the most wear, the most friction. This patch here is the point that sits right under baby's bum. When you make the pouch that they sit in, the pass that goes across them, this is the point where there's the most friction rubbing against the cloth. So it's the equivalent to the knees on your jeans that get the most wear, and over time they wear into a hole. Exact same thing's happened here. And although it is a hole that I can put my fingers through, the cloth is made up of warp and weft. The warp is the blue threads. It's a 2-ply cotton, very, very strong, and it runs the length of the wrap. And that cotton is a lot tougher than any of the wefts that are used. Individually, weft thread doesn't have much strength at all. The strength comes from the structure of the weave, the way that the warp and weft interlace. That takes two things that haven't got much strength individually and creates something that's much more than the sum of its parts. And so if we look at what's gone on here, I'm not sure how easy it is to show you, but all those warp threads, those blue threads, are actually completely intact. Can you, just like with your jeans, you'll get the stripe. There we go. You get the stripe of the warp going through, and it's the threads in the opposite direction that will have worn away. So we already have all the strength existing in this patch, and all we need to do is replace these white threads that are going down here. We don't even need to replace them anywhere up here. This cloth is absolutely perfect. So all we need to do is find a way of replicating what was going on here with these white weft threads, floating some threads in here, and that will automatically just recreate that weave structure. We're not going to be able to recreate the pattern. We're not going to be able to mend it invisibly. It's definitely going to look like a patch, although we can make it look as beautiful as possible. But ultimately, once we've added some extra threads in, it should be completely structurally safe. We don't even need to knot anything in. These threads will float through the cloth, and the friction of the weaving in and out of all these hundreds of little blue warp threads is going to hold those extra pieces in place. So although on first glance it looks like it's quite a big job, it might not be as difficult as it first looks. Some things to take into consideration are that this is now a piece of cloth that's had an awful lot of use. It's had quite a hard life. If these threads have worn away, then there's a potential that other threads in other areas that get wear may develop holes. So it's the kind of thing that we want to keep on the lookout for. The other point is that this is still going to be a high traffic area, and so it might be that we don't get another 4 years worth of use from any patch that we're going to put on here. The reason that we don't sew a patch of fabric over the top is that this is working cloth, and so it's getting stretched and pulled constantly, and so anything that we anchor in tightly will create a a point of stress, a point of strain that we pulled on. This is why we're not going to knot any threads in. We're just going to float them through, so that like fastening a boat on a dock, as the water level moves, you need to have enough slack for the boat to move up and down. Similarly, these threads will be able to move with the cloth, move as it moves, without there being any places that are unnaturally tight. And again, if you ever patched your jeans knees, you'll tend to find that the places where you stitch will become potential areas for ripping. So I think that we're going to do quite a good job with this. However, I'm going to have to sit down, find some thread, and show you in a different video how we're going to actually mend that. Okay, see you soon.